Fox News. First Alert Weather Extra starts now.
Welcome into Weather Extra. First Alert Chief Meteorologist Wes Wyatt. I remember this day vividly. Back 2011, we were getting ready for a big time severe weather event across our state. All the models, all the data for once. I don't think I've ever seen it like that. Just everything supported long track supercell storms, and we were getting set for a very active April 27, 2011. That's something we're going to talk a lot about tomorrow. So we've got several stories to tell you about. You'll certainly want to tune in for that. And we also have some great stories coming up right here. We're going to tell you a little bit about what's happening with this weather for tonight. We got rain, we got some storms out there in the forecast. Let's take you to radar, show you what's happening at the moment. We got showers north, and you can see Hamilton and areas there getting a little bit of rainfall. Nothing extreme at the moment, but as I back the view out, you can see we've entered as just kind of a messy setup here. You look at what's going on. We got an upper level low. You can see it spinning away right here. You got the counterclockwise circulation. And then you look further south, you've got a cluster of rain and storms, a little MCS, what we call a little mesoscale convective system. It's moving back towards Texas. There's a tornado watch. Looks like a tornado warning there north of Waco. You have another cluster of storms near Shreveport, big hail producers. You see that moving to the south. And then we also have the atmosphere kind of moistening up across Alabama, and we're getting some showers that have been developing. You may have noticed earlier today I was on the road over to Anniston and just had off and on showers that continued. So we're watching these little individual areas here, and what's going to happen is we're eventually going to see one of these clusters of storms back to the west. It's going to kind of break off and track to the east during the day tomorrow. As that happens, that's when we're going to have a risk for maybe some gusty winds and perhaps a strong storm. So that's what we're going to be tracking. Next big thing as we look at those first alert weather headlines. We've got scattered activity for now, but then tomorrow, more rain and storms, especially south. There is a low-end severe risk, main threats, wind and large hail. Not seeing a major risk for tornadoes or anything like that tomorrow. But let's show you what some of the data looks like here. This is from the Barron Mesoscale model, and you can see it shows some of the storms and heavier rain reaching us by midday tomorrow and into the afternoon, and even shows some of that heavier rain as far north as Blount County. Look at that. But you can tell the models are picking up on this cluster of storms, and what happens here, we've seen this so many times. You get the heaviest rain, the storms that track to the south kind of hug the coast, and it's like closing the gate on the Gulf of Mexico. We don't see quite as much rain as what the models show because it just really takes in a lot of that moisture. So it wouldn't shock me at all if we got into a situation where we saw heavier storms south by midday and we didn't see a lot. I mean, that could happen, but I wouldn't be caught off guard. I'd make sure you have a plan in place during the day tomorrow just in case some of that stormy weather reaches us this far north. And if that happens, again, can't rule out some gusty winds. And if we don't see a lot around midday, there's still a chance there's another wave that comes around tomorrow evening. You can see right back in here, and that's when we could also deal with maybe some gusty winds, some quarter-size hailstones with any of those storms that develop. This shows into Friday morning even some development. And after that, the conditions improve a little bit going into the start of the weekend, but there still could be some wet weather coming back Saturday and Sunday. Some indications that we could catch the tail end of that system. At this point, as far as the risk of severe weather, I know with it being April 27th and talking about the storm threat for tomorrow, this will be nothing like 2011 as we've been saying throughout the week. I certainly don't want to get those messages overlapped. Tomorrow, the risk, it's on the low end of the scale. More concerned about down into South Alabama. You can see the Storm Prediction Center, they have the level 2 out of 5 slight risk for those areas to the south. This is a look at our tornado ingredient product here. We look at the greatest spin, greatest instability, and you can see with time, that is going to stay well to the south. There's 7 a.m. and you can see that tracks down in here close to coastal areas. So, you know, Mobile, Baldwin counties, I'd certainly be alert for that risk of maybe an isolated tornado with any storms that develop. Now, the storm fuel, that is going to develop this far north. That's why I still think even tonight and into tomorrow, we could hear a rumble of thunder as those showers and storms track across our state. But we'll have a full 7-day forecast, take you into the weekend, and I noticed someone sent a photo today. The blackberries are in bloom. So have you heard of blackberry winter? Well, coming up on May, and there is a chance we're going to have some cooler temperatures and what we refer to as a blackberry winter. We'll go beyond the 7-day forecast. And also, we're going to talk about the beach forecast for folks traveling there and talk about that weekend rain chance. We'll get into specifics as we continue right here on First Alert Weather Extra.
We know weather can be grab the umbrella or jogging shoes, but it's so much more. It's a science, an art, led by knowledge and experience.
And no one has more of that than a WBRC First Alert weather team.
Warning you first with more hours committed to you. And the first forecast built to see weeks, days, and even minutes ahead, right down to where you live. From the team you trust on your favorite screen.
Doing the weather better. The WBRC First Alert weather team, always on your side.
Some people may think you're overreacting. Some may ask, is there a storm coming? That's okay, because knowing the first alert has helped you beat the rush. Being prepared puts you in control and changes the what if to you're okay. Knowing first is everything. First Alert Weather.
If you have plans for this weekend, we have a first alert for a wintry mix.
When you need to know next week, tomorrow, or even right now, the WBRC First Alert Weather Team is always on your side, whenever and wherever you need us. This is why we First Alert.
Welcome back to First Alert Weather Extra. I'm meteorologist Lauren Lenahan. Even though we have been seeing some slightly cooler than average temperatures across central Alabama, still that time of the year that a lot of us are thinking about the beach. We check in now with meteorologist Matt Daniel and Mickey Ferguson for that beach forecast.
Well, here we go. You know, we've got a chance of rain here locally, but you might have plans to go to the beach over the next few days. Well, guess what? We've got a decent chance of rain going into the weekend. So I don't know, but you might want to consider altering those plans a little bit. A good chance of rain and thunderstorms going into the day tomorrow, and might even see some strong storms down there in the Gulf, Matt.
That's right. The Storm Prediction Center already highlighting that threat along the Gulf Coast, maybe some damaging winds and hail, and maybe even a low-end tornado threat. So if you're going to be along the Gulf Coast tomorrow, just have ways to receive those warnings in case they're issued. And of course, when you're at the beach, we always recommend people to apply the sunscreen, especially when it's sunny, but it won't be necessarily sunny tomorrow and maybe not very sunny going into Saturday. But
Well,
Friday,
they'll probably have an umbrella or a rain jacket on. So
that's right. But you know, even when it's cloudy, you can get a sunburn. So that UV index forecast in that high range Thursday and Saturday is in that very high range going into Friday. But of course, with the stormy weather, there's a big rip current threat, Mickey.
Yeah, buddy. And with red flags, you want to stay out of the water. I know a lot of folks like to get the surfboards out and try to risk riding some waves, but that can be pretty dangerous if you get knocked off your board. It can suck you out into the Gulf, so that could be dangerous, and then it endangers the personnel that have to go out and rescue you.
That's right. So yeah, just be careful. Try to avoid the waters over the next couple of days, just because look at Thursday, tomorrow afternoon, rain and storms pretty likely along the Gulf Coast, and we're looking at maybe a lull in the rain as we go into Friday. There still could be some showers and storms with temperatures in the 70s, but look what happens as we go into Saturday. Another system's going to roll through the southeast. The timing of this could still change, but this is showing stormy activity along Gulf Shores, Pensacola, as we go into Saturday afternoon, Saturday evening, Mickey.
Yep, so the next couple of days, even into the day on Sunday, at least Sunday morning, we have some showers rolling through, and into Sunday afternoon begins to taper off a little bit. Here's a look at the Gulf Coast beach forecast as far as potential wind gusts, and those are substantial as well, especially when you consider putting up a beach umbrella.
That's right. And of course, if we have storms rolling through, these wind gusts could be even higher, 40, 50 miles per hour, maybe even 60. So we'll be monitoring that. And notice what happens as we go into Friday afternoon. Pretty breezy along the Gulf Coast, 20 to 25 mile per hour gusts. And that's another reason why that rip current threat is going to be in that high range going into the weekend. But I think the biggest story over the next 5 days, Mickey, is the amount of rain that could fall.
So I'm saying it's probably not a good weekend to go to the Gulf of Mexico. I'm just throwing that out there. But you know, some people say a day at the beach is better than a sunny day. Rainy day at the beach is better than a sunny day at home. But 4 inches of rain, I don't know about that.
That's a lot. So here's a look at that 7-day forecast. And as you can see, stormy tomorrow, maybe a break from the rain as we go into Friday, but higher rain chances Saturday and Sunday. But early next week, if you just want to wait it out, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, that looks nice.
Sunshine comes back out to play. Makes that noise, by the way, when it does that.
You're right. It does.
So if you can postpone those plans, maybe going into next week might be a better idea. And while you're there, just checking the forecast, checking the radar, your First Alert weather app is your friend.
So if I say sunshine, we get the sound effect?
Yeah, you will.
Sunshine next week.
And back-to-back storms have devastated parts of central California on Tuesday. Governor Gavin Newsom toured the Tulare Lake Basin, where water levels are at the highest they've been in nearly 4 decades. Eliza Navarro reports.
Many South Valley residents are still dealing with the devastation left behind by a series of storms.
We're in a situation now where we're just from day to day don't know what's going to happen, you know, so just sometimes it's a little worrisome.
Rafael Diaz is the foreman of Hanson Ranches in Kings County. He was able to talk directly to Governor Gavin Newsom, who spent most of his day touring 3 impacted locations. Newsom first visited Allensworth, where he sat down with community members who have advocated for the historic area since the flooding started about a month and a half ago.
Put your thinking caps on, because that snow is melting right now, and we're not going out this way.
They explained the continued hardships after some residents lost their homes and others came very close. One Valley pastor who lives in Allensworth also made a passionate plea for more support with long-term solutions.
We need an infrastructure that's going to take care of this once and for all.
The governor's second stop was at the Avenue 56 project, where about 2 miles of the road was elevated 5 feet. The intention is to create a reliable pathway for the Alpa community, which is currently surrounded by floodwater. Newsom ended his day by touring Hanson Ranches, where miles of land are feet underwater. Diaz also spoke up about the ongoing impact of flooding on farm workers.
Employees as well have been concerned, worried about, you know, what's going to happen next.
And more in California, firefighters are learning a new way to fight fires, and that's with night vision goggles. California fire helicopter crews are now training on how to use these goggles while flying so they can continue to battle flames even after the sun goes down. Ariana Hasso explains. Take a look.
As CAL FIRE crews wait for the sun to go down, fire chiefs and pilots with years of experience brief them on the extensive training ahead. How to fight fires at night using night vision goggles.
This is our time to go through and learn about the NVGs, how to fly with them, how to fight fire with them, and just get a broad overview of the training of what that NVG program is for us here.
With 17 years of aviation experience, Battalion Chief Sky McGregor says this new tool will allow crew members in the air to relay precise information to firefighters on the ground.
What the fire is doing, where it's going, what the activity of the fire is, and also help them plan in their strategic plan to, come up with a goal objectives of where we're going to stop this fire.
For Tuesday's training, crews headed out to the San Luis Reservoir, where they fly back and forth to the base, practicing with night vision goggles.
They will be flying out to our work sites, they'll be practicing landings, getting water from the lake and actually doing water dropping operations.
Learning everything from the basics of how to use the goggles and what to do if they fail.
getting used to operating under the goggles. So flying at night, it's drastically different than flying during the day. We are faced with obviously visual limitations.
And then we start to move into the tactical phase where we'll work on hover fills and a lot of our fire suppression tactics.
The night vision goggles and this new training will allow them to fly around the clock, trying to stay ahead of wildfires that don't stop burning when the sun goes down.
Nobody will ever get to a point where they know every single scenario that they're going to be in, but it's about collecting as many tools in the process to be able to handle that scenario when it comes.
And now crews are scheduled to train overnight all week. But of course, this is First Alert Weather Extra. After the break, we'll check in with Chief Meteorologist Wes Wyatt for more details on that 7-day forecast. And then we'll go beyond the 7-day with First Alert Meteorologist Lauren Linehan. First Alert Weather Extra, we'll be right back.
West Shore Home is making shower and bath remodeling easy and more affordable for everyone. Hey everybody, I'm joined by Kirsten Page from West Shore to find out exactly how they're making that happen. Kirsten.
So Joe, we've been able to give homeowners, over 165,000 of them, the shower and bath of their dreams by making it a fast, easy, and convenient experience. But now we're making it even more affordable to start your project without breaking the bank.
Now Kirsten, when someone starts a remodeling project, costs can be a real concern. So how are you making it more affordable to start that project right now?
So instead of me telling you, why don't I show you? This homeowner was having some problems with their old shower. They called us, we stopped out, and we completely removed the old bathtub and replaced it with a walk-in shower in just one day. The best part? We can do a job like this for as low as $99 a month.
$99 a month, that's incredible.
It really is. We understand that budgets can be a little tighter this time of the year, so we want to make it easier for folks to get their projects started right now. So let's go ahead and look at another project we recently did. This homeowner was so excited to get rid of their old bathtub because they were getting an easy, low-step shower. You can see here we took out that old bathtub and removed everything down to the studs. Then we installed new walls and fixtures. By dinner time, this homeowner had their brand new shower, and the best part, they didn't need to worry about paying for their entire project up front. They were able to break it down into low monthly payments.
That project looks amazing, and the low monthly payments is going to make getting that project started so much easier. Kirsten, thanks so much. Folks, West Shore Home is making shower and bath remodeling fast and convenient, and you heard Kirsten, now they're making it more affordable too with their easy, low monthly payments. Call the number on your screen right now to start your project, and when you do, take advantage of this great offer. Call in now to get your new shower for as little as $99 a month. On top of that, they're doing free installation on all shower and bath projects. Don't delay. Call the experts at West Shore Home now.
Welcome into Weather Extra. Chief Meteorologist Wes Wyatt. Breaking the wet weather, we did have quite a few showers out there today. I was visiting Randolph Park Elementary School over in East Alabama, and we had some shower activity that was happening all along I-20 there across East Alabama earlier. Our weather watchers reported about 0.11 of an inch of rain. But this is live right now. No wet weather, of course, showing up at the moment, but that could change later on tonight. We're still seeing indications. We're in kind of an unsettled flow pattern here as a disturbance approaches. It throws a lot of that moisture in our direction, and as that moisture lifts in, we could have some showers, maybe a rumble of thunder, but not concerned about severe weather. Notice temperature still on the cool side, some low 50s out there tonight. There's 6 a.m. tomorrow, and much like today, plan for some pockets of rain to start the day tomorrow for Thursday. And as we get to lunchtime into the afternoon, as we start to warm up, there's a chance that we could see some heavier rain and storms, especially south. Some of those could be on the strong side. And then tomorrow night, another chance for some storms. Notice by 11 p.m., this model showing West Alabama, Hamilton, Fayette, Tuscaloosa, back towards Utah, perhaps some lightning producers, and pushing in towards Birmingham, maybe close to midnight. So we may be tracking some storms late tomorrow night. That said, again, the risk for severe weather is still very low. We're most concerned about far south Alabama, down along the coast. That's where that risk is much higher, more instability down in that part of the state. Friday, we get into a break in the activity, a bit of a lull, but then as we get into the weekend. There could be a few showers as we still kind of catch the tail end of that system. Notice tomorrow the slight risk is down into places like Dothan and south of Montgomery. So this is where the greatest concern for severe weather is going to be for tomorrow. Again, that risk is on the marginal side further north. I mentioned the tornado threat. You can see again that is going to stay mainly to the south here. So for our Thursday, not too worried about tornadoes for this April 27th, but there will be some gusty winds and again some hail producers. There's the 7-day forecast, and Saturday it looks like late, and Saturday some rain possible. We get into Sunday, we've got the race at Barber Motorsports Park. We get into Sunday, there will be some showers, possibly a storm, and then we have some cooler, drier weather on the way. Highs right there around 68 on Monday, 72 there on Tuesday. Overnight lows down into the 40s, so we'll have some colder temperatures there during the overnight hours into next week. I'm not seeing frost or seeing freezing temperatures as we check out the forecast, and there went Tania. All right, so coming up here, we are going to be talking about what happens beyond the 7-day forecast as we head over to meteorologist Lauren Linehan.
Well, we have a forecast, Wes, for Rogue Tania going wild in the studio, apparently. But here's the good thing, Wes, as we look ahead to the next several days here, we are going to be seeing that active pattern, but really going into next week, the potential for cooler than average temperatures. And that does look to be a trend here that could continue possibly overall for the next 2 weeks. So you can see here across Alabama, the possibility for temperatures not necessarily to be in that freezing territory. We always worry about that, of course, this time of the year, but the possibility for temperatures maybe to be a few degrees below average. So our average high this time of the year in the upper 70s, but you can see possibly as we get into next week, temperatures in the low 70s, if not in the 60s by the next Friday, Saturday time frame. So seeing a cooler than average pattern possible, but then you notice once we get that past that first weekend in May, the possibility of a bit of a warm up in the forecast. And then as far as those low temperatures, our average low this time of the year as we head into May is going to be about 55 degrees. But check it out. We've been forecasting 40s next week, and that's a trend that could very well continue into the first weekend of May. And we still want to watch for the possibility of anything in the way of patchy frost areas north. You can sometimes get that in early May, but not seeing any major concerns right now. Then that second week of May, potentially temperatures getting a little bit closer to average. So as far as rain chances, as we look ahead here, I think across the southern half of Alabama, the general trend 8 to 14 days from now would support the possibility of above average precipitation. So that's certainly something we're going to be keeping an eye on if we were to see that. Could there be anything in the way of rain, not just rain, but the possibility of some strong storms? So as we get into next week, here we are that Wednesday, Thursday time frame, seeing a disturbance moving through by next Thursday, and this is May 4th. May the 4th be with you for all my Star Wars fans out there. And this is showing that possibility of that evening, maybe some showers and storms. Then here we go, May 5th, Cinco de Mayo. If you were heading out to dinner that evening, Friday, you may have some showers and storms to deal with. Not necessarily seeing a severe threat at this time, but something we're going to be watching. And then we go into that weekend and seeing maybe the possibility of an area of low pressure developing along the Gulf. So even though we could be dry for the first half of next week, it does look like as we get potentially into next weekend, some more unsettled weather in the forecast. As always, we'll keep an eye on things and stay up to date on that First Alert weather app. In the meantime, coming up on Weather Extra, we all know when it gets rainy, we love to take a nap, right? But we're not the only ones. We'll check in with one of our drowsier animal friends, and we'll have a final look at that forecast. We'll be right back.
We heard the first alert. Mom says we have to go. She says I don't have time to grab any more toys.
Need to be into a tornado-safe place. Get there right now as you have.
We have to get to our safe place because sometimes when you hear the siren, it's too late. That's why she says knowing first is everything.
We We know weather can be grab the umbrella or jogging shoes, but it's so much more. It's a science, an art, led by knowledge and experience.
And no one has more of that than a WBRC First Alert weather team.
Warning you first with more hours committed to you. And the first forecast built to see weeks, days, and even minutes ahead, right down to where you live. From the team you trust on your favorite screen.
Doing the weather better. The WBRC First Alert weather team, always on your side.
The first alert is more than a warning. It's a promise. A promise to get you out of harm's way with plenty of time to spare. 4 walls and a roof can be replaced. Lives can't. That's why knowing first is everything. First Alert weather.
Welcome back to First Alert Weather Extra. I'm meteorologist Lauren Linehan. I know we get a lot of complaints about this sometime, but you can't call this next guy woke. It's a critter that sleeps up to 18 hours a day. He's become a viral sensation as drowsy fans relate to how hard it is to get him up. CNN's Jeannie Moose reports on the internet's favorite sleepyhead.
What is this thing, and why is his keeper having such a hard time waking him up? Morning. Rub his ears. You wanna wake up? Give him his favorite treat, avocado. Still, he puts his paw over his ear.
You're not a teenager anymore.
Yuri, the 22-year-old giant anteater, just covers his head with his tail, a built-in blanket.
This is an everyday thing for me, is getting this boy out of bed is difficult.
The Greensboro, North Carolina Science Center captioned the video, "Our sweet forever teenager."
Come on, Yuri, come on.
It went massively viral. Who doesn't relate? Just 5 more minutes. What does he have to get up for? Is he late for something? Let him sleep. But Yuri, named after the vacuum cleaner brand Eureka, needs to get up and take his meds, mixed in avocado. Does he actually get medical cannabis?
He does.
He even gets acupuncture for his arthritis. 22 is ancient for an anteater. In the wild, they only live to about 14. Are anteaters dangerous? I read they could disembowel you with their claws.
That is totally true. So we actually don't go in with Yuri when he's awake and walking around like this.
Check out the claws. On this itchy anteater in South America, no wonder keeper Kelly Roush held Yuri's leg.
Don't give me the claw.
In case he woke up on the wrong side of the bed.
He has a really, really sticky tongue, which he's using on my shoe right now.
A 2-foot tongue that looks like a snake. He likes tasting hair products, and he loves sniffing smelly sneakers. And we're not pulling your leg. Jeannie Moose, CNN, New York.
You're not a teenager anymore.
I mean, what do you say after that, Tania? I think we need that fella to be our little mascot around here. God, he's cute, and also I feel like I got a little bit of an itch after watching him. If only the tongue was long enough to help out with that. But anyway, let's get to that 7-day forecast before we wrap up this evening. As Wes has been mentioning, we do have that first alert for the possibility of some rain and storms tomorrow. That severe threat is really going to be contingent on whether we end up seeing this massive storms in the Gulf in the morning. If that does indeed happen, that could cut off a lot of energy for any storms later in the day for us. So that'd be a good thing. Not if you're along the Gulf Coast and it's going to be a rainy, stormy day. But for us here in central Alabama, we really got to see how those morning storms down towards the coast pan out. And then just a few lingering showers on Friday. Going into Saturday and Sunday, there's still a lot of uncertainty, more questions than answers with this disturbance coming in over the weekend, when exactly we could see rain. But we'll keep an eye on it for you. And then, as we've been talking about, generally looking cooler and drier next week. But we'll take a look further at that 7-day forecast coming up tonight on First at 9 with Wes again. And you can catch us here on Weather Extra every weeknight at 6:30 on your favorite streaming platform. I'm meteorologist Lauren Linehan. Have a safe and happy Wednesday evening.